How's it going, people? It's Baker here from Bigboybeatz. So we might have landed a track placement with a massive UK garage label, but we might not have at the same time. And that's why this video is quite interesting. Bit of background. As a producer, you send your stuff out to DJs and record labels. I actually had a phone call off one of the head honchos of this record label. It's actually an artist, a producer, who I've been a fan of for many years. I'm talking back from in the 90s. And they were like, we really like what you're doing. We want you to produce a track for us. So I produced a track and sent it over to the label, made some tweaks after some feedback. And they want to put a top line on it, they want to get a vocalist on it. Don't know when that will be. Don't know who the vocalist is going to be. I don't even know whether the track is actually going to go out. But you've got to take these opportunities with both hands. So we're going to jump into Ableton now and have a little look at how the track was produced, what sparked the idea and how it ended up. Let's jump in. So in true amateur fashion, this is possibly the third time I've tried to record this. And now I've got my phone going off in the background as well, so all these videos are unscripted. We just run with it. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to play the idea of the track to you, and what was the birth of the track. I was already working on it before the record label approached me, or I'd already got the idea down, should I say. But all tracks have to come from somewhere. There was no real brief for the track, apart from they were looking for something similar to what I'd produced before in a demo that I'd sent them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this section here to you, which is just an idea that I had to start with. So as you can see, it's quite bouncy, quite old school feeling in terms of old R&B, hip hop, so on and so forth. So what I did with that is I took the original piano loop, or piano sample, slowed it down half time for the intro, so I'll play the intro to you now, or just this part of the intro. And then as we go into the drop, if I play all the melodic elements. So that just gives you some sort of idea on where the track started. Going to go through all my groups now. Kick and bass, look at the percussion elements. We've already had a look at the melodics, but I might dip into them again. The vocals, the effects, and then we'll look at the masters. So with the kick and the bass, I knew I wanted to keep the same sort of bass line. I wanted the same notes. So all I did is I got a sub bass, which isn't playing, which is really weird. and I layered the sub bass with the guitar bass. Bass guitar, I should say. The sub is coming out of Monarch, and it's the Dutch sub preset. On the bass group, I've got some saturation, track spacer, which is getting it out of the way of the kick, some stereo processing just to mono the very, very low frequencies and give the upper harmonics a little bit of width. And what I always do is I always process the kick and the bass together, which I'll solo now. So there's the foundation of the beat. Looking at the tops, really, really simple. We've literally got 2 racks for the tops. We've got snares and claps. Then we've got the hi-hats. Got a little scratch sample that I use on all my tracks. And your standard crashes. So if we look at the kick, the bass, tops, and the crashes in situ, they sound like this. So that's already quite bouncy, but then you add the melodics to it as well. Gives it a little bit more, but it's still not got that sort of like bouncy feel that I was going for, and it's almost like Sammy Vergy-esque sort of thing, where you've got heavily side-chained elements of the track in the background that's giving it that bounce. So what I wanted to do with the vocals is I wanted to have those heavily side-chained. Now the vocals are really, really simple on this. We've got one phrase that pretty much repeats through the whole track, which is the word yeah, just sung differently. So if we then isolate or solo the kick, the bass, the tops, the melodics and the vocals, you should start to get that real bouncy feel. So the only element we really haven't spoke about is the effects. There's quite a lot going on with the effects. I'm not going to play every single one separately. The intro to the track, I wanted it to have like a bit of an old radio being tuned, which works quite well. We've then got your classic garage dub sirens. And a couple of other cheeky one-shots. And then quite a few risers and impacts. Putting it all together, it sounds a bit like this. So there are tons of videos out there showing you how to produce music and how to mix, but the idea of this channel is taking you from the idea, taking you through the track and how the track was produced at a high level, and then basically telling you what's going to happen with the track next. But I think fundamentally the thing that makes the kick and the bass work together is the way that it's glued together. It's grouped together. It's got a drum bus which adds a bit of drive and crunch. That added quite a lot of volume, so I had to pull the output down a little bit. We've then got this multi-band compressor, which is, it was a trick or a preset that Streaky shared. If you haven't checked out Streaky's channel, go and check it out. But basically what he does is he sets these dynamic thresholds. So the bands expand and contract in response to the frequencies. I'll solo the kick and the bass and you'll be able to see those two working together. Something else that I do is at the end of every audio track, so to speak, I'll have an EQ. What I do is I analyse it against another EQ. So it's got a really good, FabFilter Pro Q3's got a really good way of being able to do that. So you can look at the frequencies and how they're responding to other frequencies in another channel. So as you can see here, it's really muddy, and the kick is... The kick and the bass really aren't necessarily working too well together. So the way around that is you make a dynamic cut. I'm not going to show you on the kick actually, I'm going to show you on the bass because I didn't want to affect the kick. So if you can see where these frequencies are highlighted here, but then I go to my bass group. Here you can see what I did is I dipped the frequencies where the kick is more prominent, and then I boosted the low end a little bit. And that's as well as using track spacer to get the bass out of the way of the kick. Now I do that on absolutely every single track, every single channel. So I'll do it against kick and bass, then I'll make sure the tops aren't interfering with any of the other channels. I'll do the same with the melodics, as you can see here. And that just gives the track space to breathe. Moving into the breakdown section then. We switched it up. We had a break where we removed the melodics. Which is here. And we introduced the new vocal element. And then we had a bridge section. I'm going to let this bit play out just so you can hear how it drops into the final drop. So as you can see, pretty simple on this one really. I think the whole track's driven by the sidechain, if I'm honest. Looking at the masters then, I mastered the track and I sent it over to the label. They liked it, but there were a couple of bits of feedback which I gave. First and foremost, they thought it could be slower. I produced it at 138 BPM. Usually with music like this, garage and sort of like 4/4 high energy tracks, I usually go anywhere between 133 and 138 because that seems to be where the genre is at the moment. However, the label thought it could do with being slowed down, and they also said that they would like to have a top line put on it. So what I did is I slowed it down, and here's the master. So there you have it, there's the track. It may come out, it may not come out. It's with the label now for them to do what they want to do with it. Part and parcel of working with other labels as opposed to self-releasing is sometimes you have to give up a lot more. In respect to this track, I probably won't ever see any royalties off it because the label are going to do something else with the track. but it's still a Baker track. It's still going to be associated to me, and hopefully it'll get more eyes on me, my work, my productions, and lead to other things. Hope you enjoyed the video. I am going to try and do a few more. It's just time's really limited. But please do like, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff, add a comment. And as those start to pick up, it'll drive me to do more videos like this. So thanks so much for watching. I've been Baker, and I'll catch you in the next one.